All right, Saxon Math Course 2. We are in Lesson 83. We're going to be talking about multiplying in scientific notation. All right, first of all, there's a couple of things that we need to know about scientific notation. We have to say that the base of a number, the base given to us, which in this case is 10, so you see 10, 10, 10, that doesn't change. We're not multiplying that because if we multiply a base, we're really worried about these exponents, okay? So when we multiply bases, we will add the exponents. So if we multiply 10 by 10, notice the answer is 10 to what power? We're doing something to these two, and if we're adding them, 3 plus 4 is 7, okay? This is a pretty easy concept when we deal with this. And this isn't just in algebraic notation. We can do this with other things when dealing with algebra, and we'll get to that next lesson 84. So let's look at a couple of examples. Okay, example 1 gives us a scientific notation problem where it's 1.2 times 10. There's our base again, 10 to the 5th power, and then we're going to multiply that by 3 times 10 to the 7th power. Okay, now what I like to do right away is I know if I'm multiplying by a base of 10, I know my answer is going to be 10 to some power, so I put that up there. Okay, now if I'm multiplying, I automatically know that these two are being added, so 5 plus 7 equals 12. Okay, let's just keep that number because I would put that right here, but I don't know if that's quite going to be my answer. All right, so what I'm left to do is simply multiply 1.2 times 3. All right, let's do that. Pretty simple. We get 36. Because there's one decimal, we're going to move the decimal this direction. So we're going to get 3.6 times 10. And what's the number we had up here? To the 12th power. There's my answer. Okay? Pretty simple in this activity. Now, we're going to go to one where we actually have to challenge ourselves a little bit more. So let's go to example 2. And in example 2, it gives us a similar problem. We have 4 times 10 to the 6th power, and then we're going to multiply that by 3 times 10 to the 5th power. All right, now again, I already know, because its base is 10, I already know that I'm going to have 10 to some power, and it looks like I've got 6 plus 5 equals 11, so I'm just going to keep that in mind for just a second. Okay, now I go back to and do my multiplication of this 4 and this 3, which is 12. 12 times 10 to the, and if I add these two, it's the 11th power. But in this problem, 12 times 10 to the 11th power is not proper scientific notation. Proper scientific notation puts a decimal right here. So it really should be 1.2 times 10. Well, what happens when we move that decimal from the right to the left? We add one more space to it. So notice the 11 here is actually going to be 12 because it's 11 plus 1. I moved it, so it's 1.2 times 10 to the 12th power. Now, 12 times 10 to the 11th power is actually correct, but it's correct only in that we have one more step, and that's to move this decimal to 1.2 times 10 to the 12th power. Okay, there's our answer. All right, never leave more than one digit out here with the decimal. All right, so those are the two examples that we're going to give you for that. What happens if we have a negative in our exponent? Okay, so look at example 4. We have 5 times 10 to the 3rd power, and then that's going to be multiplied by 7 times 10 to the negative 8th. Okay, again, Adding these two, I know I'm going to get times 10 to the something power, okay? 3 minus 8 is actually a negative 5, right? If I have positive 3 degrees and I drop 8 degrees, I'm going to go to negative 5. All right, now, what is 5 times 7? Well, that's 35 times 10 to the negative 5th. But if I move my decimal, okay, over this direction, what happens to my answer? I have to add 1, right? So if I'm adding 1 to a negative, that means it's 3.5 times 10 to the negative 4th, because negative 5 plus 1 equals negative 4. There is my exponent. So my answer is 3.5 times 10 to the negative 4th power. All right, that is working in scientific notation. I hope you guys understand this, and if you don't, please ask me questions. I'll be more than happy to help.